Hello, everyone out there in the wide world of the internet. My name is Omen Cross, and welcome to this little internet experiment I like to call Crossn and Waffles. Now, you might ask yourself or me, what's the reason for this podcast? Now, I have a lot of people that tell me that they love my writing and they say I'm very articulate, but they just don't have the time to go through and read the things that I've written or think about them. They ask me if there's a way I can condense it down and make it easier to consume by today's populace. And so I started looking into having a podcast. And I found that it's a very difficult experience. It's very complicated when you're in a car and you don't have access to much to actually produce a podcast and get it to be put online without complication. But hopefully I think I've gotten around that. My second major issue really wasn't an issue for me personally, because unlike most people, I always have a partner in crime. And so with that said, I'd like to introduce my co-host, and I'll bet you all wish you had a spiss like this, Emma Cross, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So, you could say to me, what's the nature of this content? What's the upload schedule? There's a million questions that come along with a podcast. As far as the uploads, it's really right now up to how long it takes me to figure out how to properly upload these things and get them to upload. The more I do this, the easier it should become, and the more frequent and easier to maintain the schedule should be as far as uploads and releases. I know I have a couple ideas for the first few episodes of the show, though they're not set up and produced yet. But once I get those things produced and uploaded, they will definitely be readily available for the masses to consume. As far as topics, what kind of topics do you think we should discuss, Bisson?
Well, first and foremost, we are going to talk about basically journaling our lives and what we're going to do and how we got here and and things like that, of those natures.
So we're going to do some journaling, maybe some discussions about things going on in the present day world. To me personally, we can discuss just about everything from mountains to music, everything from morons to megalomaniacs, and everything from malfeasance to marginalism. I don't care what we talk about. I honestly think that maybe in part that should be allowed to be focused on by the people listening to this podcast, if anyone chooses to listen. So for those people who do choose to listen to this podcast, I'd say to you, find ways to comment or send in an email.
You can email us at crossnandwaffles@gmail.com.
Yeah, find a way to get in contact with me. Let me know the things that you want me to talk about, because I have no problem discussing my viewpoints on generally everything. I have experience in a lot of different areas. I'm an ex-soldier in the United States military. I deployed 3 times. I have medals. I've done research into various forms of religion, including various forms of magical principles. I've done work on cars, whether it be in an actual shop or on the side of the road. I've worked at probably 100 different places across many states in this country. Together, Emma and I have traversed the country at least, 4.5 times now?
I think it's 3, I believe. It's been a while.
But we've been back and forth across America. We've experienced, we've seen, we've done. We've spoken to and interacted with people in various places across the country, not just people that are well off, but people that are growing up, people that are learning, people that are living life the way life is now. And so we have a lot of interesting experiences to share with the world. Hopefully this podcast will allow myself, most specifically, who doesn't talk to people much because I just don't know what to say, a way to condense my thoughts into a sectional format where the topic of discussion will actually give me an ability to express myself in a more concentrated manner.
And for me, it'll be an experience at overcoming my anxiety.
So, those are the basics. The only other thing I'd have to say about the podcast as a whole in the future is the podcast is not going to be for children. The podcast may contain explicit material. I do have a bad cursing habit.
As do I.
I'm not going to bleep myself. I believe those are words of emphasis, and I'm not going to hold back my thoughts on any matter of subject that I'm discussing. I don't care what's politically correct. I don't care what an individual's viewpoint on it is. This is about my viewpoint because this is Crossn and Waffles. So, aside from that, hopefully this will have given you a chance to understand what it is we intend to do with this podcast, and hopefully as we continue to discuss one thing and another, hopefully you'll find things to enjoy and things to come back to listen to about this podcast.
And grow with us is most important.
Yeah, because I've never done this before.
Neither have I, and it's all new, and it's an experience, and we'd like you to take it with us.
So, with all those things being said, would you like to lead us out, dear?
Yes, thank you for listening. This has been Crossn and Waffles, and good luck crossing the spaces between.